Number 1. Uzbekistan behind the old curtain. For many Westerners, Uzbekistan remains a vague name on the map. Many mistakenly associate it with Afghanistan or Pakistan, or lump it together with the image of a dusty, unstable, old Central Asia. These prejudices stem from decades ago, when the region was largely absent from international news. However, the current picture of Uzbekistan has changed dramatically. The country, roughly the size of California, and with a population of around 37 million, is the most populous in Central Asia. It is no longer a closed land, but is gradually integrating, preserving its ancient heritage while building a modern image. Beneath the vast deserts lies the Muruntau gold mine, one of the largest open-pit gold mines on the planet, with estimated reserves of over 4,800 tons and an annual production among the world's leading producers. Alongside gold is the cotton industry, a crucial source of income known as the white gold of the Uzbek economy. Since 2016, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev's administration has implemented a series of economic reforms, loosening foreign exchange controls, opening up to private investment, and upgrading infrastructure. The number of international flights to Tashkent and Samarkand has increased rapidly following the easing of visa policies for dozens of countries, facilitating trade and tourism. On the streets, the Afrosiyab high-speed train connects major cities, while new glass buildings spring up alongside centuries-old religious structures. The Silk Road heritage remains vibrant in Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva. These cities were once mandatory stops for Asian and European trading caravans, notable for their turquoise domes and expansive plazas. Archaeological excavations in the region have uncovered traces of Buddhist temples and Zoroastrian shrines, suggesting Uzbekistan was once a melting pot of religions before Islam became dominant. Geographically, Uzbekistan is one of the rare countries without a double coastline, requiring passage through two other countries to access the ocean. The climate is harsh, with summer temperatures exceeding 45 degrees Celsius and winters dropping below -30 degrees Celsius, yet valleys like the Fergana maintain agriculture thanks to large-scale irrigation systems built during the Soviet era. The state language is Uzbek, but Russian is still widely used in urban areas and businesses. Today's younger generation often speaks bilingual, even trilingual, languages, as English becomes increasingly prevalent in education and tourism. Uzbekistan is gradually shedding its outdated image, becoming a more stable and open nation. The major challenge now is not security or resources, but how to make the world recognize that the country is ready to welcome visitors and tell its own story. Number 2. Living within a web of rules. For many tourists, Uzbekistan initially appears as a tranquil destination, with its ancient neighborhoods, turquoise mosques, and friendly people. However, beneath this peaceful facade lies a society governed by strict laws and rigorous codes of conduct. Long-standing Islamic traditions combined with a modern model of governance have created an environment where everyday interactions carry clear social significance. For example, men do not shake hands with women in public. Instead, they bow and place their right hand on their chest as a sign of respect. Failure to adhere to this gesture may be considered ill-mannered, especially in formal settings. Legally, Uzbekistan employs one of the strictest legal frameworks in Central Asia. Homosexual relations between men remain a crime, punishable by up to 3 years in prison. This regulation, originating from the Soviet era and rarely discussed publicly, remains in effect. As a consequence, many gay people have to conceal their identity, living cautiously to avoid scrutiny or unwanted attention from society. According to international human rights reports in recent decades, prosecutions are not frequent, but the very existence of this law is enough to create psychological pressure and restrict public living space. Foreign visitors also need to be aware of regulations that go far beyond common courtesy. Gambling is strictly prohibited, while drugs, even in very small amounts, can lead to lengthy prison sentences. At airports, security forces sometimes thoroughly check luggage and medications, especially those containing codeine, which is classified as a prohibited substance. Carrying or possessing pornographic content is also not allowed, and personal electronic devices may be inspected in some cases. Economic activity is also not exempt from these controls. Selling goods below market price is sometimes seen as disrupting market order, a management mindset rooted in the Soviet Union's anti-black market campaign. In practice, many small traders adhere to safer prices to avoid unnecessary trouble, even when offering discounts to acquaintances. What makes Uzbekistan unpredictable is the juxtaposition of contradictions. Alcohol is legally sold and widely available during festivals, despite Islamic prohibitions, because the state encourages controlled consumption. Conversely, fast food outlets are restricted near schools to protect children's health. Living in Uzbekistan means understanding and accepting a complex web of interwoven laws and traditions, where respect for the rules is not just an option but a condition for integration. Number 3. Beauty that transcends the Central Asian mold. Upon arriving in Uzbekistan, what often draws the attention of many visitors is the appearance of the local women. Their looks reflect a history of intermingling over thousands of years along the Silk Road, where Persian, Mongolian, and Eastern European trading caravans met. On their faces, you might see the dark skin and almond-shaped eyes characteristic of Central Asia, or the light-colored hair and pale blue gaze familiar to Europe. Despite their differences, many Uzbek women share a common demeanor, quiet confidence, and a sense of steadfastness. The image of Karimova Alina, singer and beauty influencer, is often seen as a symbol of a new generation, open to the world but not detached from their cultural roots. Uzbekistan is a predominantly Muslim country, but its laws remain secular, particularly in matters of family. This is evident on the streets of Tashkent, where women choose their attire with great flexibility, from denim skirts and modern jackets to colorful traditional dresses. A common misconception outside of the Uzbek tradition is that Uzbek men are allowed to have multiple wives. In reality, polygamy is forbidden and can lead to imprisonment. Informal relationships still exist in some rural areas, but are rarely public. Notably, society sometimes seems more accepting of a discreet second wife than of divorced or single women, reflecting lingering cultural pressures. The tradition of wearing gold teeth was once common as a sign of wealth. While less common among young people today, many older women still maintain this custom as part of their personal identity. Contrary to the simplified image portrayed by foreign media, Uzbek women are not associated with belly dancing. Traditional dances in Khiva and Bukhara are characterized by slow rhythms, graceful movements, and rich symbolism, often telling stories of family and fidelity. In many local festivals, these dances are performed by older women, highlighting their role in passing on cultural memory across generations. Beyond the arts, Uzbek women are increasingly present in education and politics. They currently comprise approximately 17.5% of parliament, significantly higher than many post-Soviet countries and even India. The proportion of female university students in major cities has also steadily increased over the past decade, particularly in the fields of health and education. It is this resilience and ability to reconcile tradition, faith, and personal aspirations that has shaped the portrait of the modern Uzbek woman. Number 4. Uzbekistan sees the past. Uzbekistan has sites where history and the natural environment clearly reflect the great upheavals of the Central Asian region. The ship graveyard in Moynak is a prime example. Once an important fishing port on the Aral Sea, this body of water once spanned approximately 26,000 square miles and was the world's fourth largest lake. In the 1950s and 1960s, the fishing industry in Moynak provided jobs and food for over 50,000 people. The turning point came in 1961, when the Soviet Union implemented large-scale irrigation projects, diverting the Amudarya and Sir-Darya rivers to serve cotton cultivation. The Aral Sea's water level in the Uzbekistan region dropped by about 90%, leaving rusted ship hulls lying in the desert, nearly 100 kilometers from the old coastline. Local residents say many ships were dismantled since the 1990s for their metal, leaving only a dwindling number remaining. Environmental studies indicate that the shrinking of the Aral Sea has also led to salt and toxic dust pollution, with long-term effects on public health around Moynak. A small museum there displays fishing gear and images documenting the port's past. South of the Baysuntau Ranges, the Dark Star Cave is considered one of the world's deepest caves. Since its discovery in 1984, expeditions have surveyed over 17 kilometers in length. The cave system has a vertical structure over 1,000 meters deep, with underground rivers and complex rock chambers. Expeditions in 2023 open new passages, providing crucial data for the study of karst geology and groundwater levels in Central Asia. In Navoy province, the ancient Dayahatin Mosque, dating from the 8th to 12th centuries, was built during the Samanid period. The massive stone columns of the structure resemble Zoroaster fire temples, showing the influence of the pre-Islamic period. Archaeologists associate this structure with the period of Turkic conversion, when old and new religious elements coexisted. Samarkand is associated with the Ulugh Beg Observatory, built in 1420 by Ulugh Beg. The marble sextant there measures the positions of stars with an error of only 2 arc minutes, creating the Zij-e-Sultani catalogue. Historical documents show that this catalogue was used by Islamic and European scholars for centuries before the advent of modern astronomy. Nearby, Shah-e-Zinda is a complex of tombs dating from the 11th to 19th centuries, notable for its 7-colored glazed tiles. It is associated with Qusam ibn Abbas, who was believed to have been martyred around 676, giving rise to legends of spiritual protection for Samarkand. Number 5. A city stranded in the desert. If you visit Moynak in northwestern Uzbekistan today, the scene before you is likely to evoke a post-apocalyptic world. Rusting fishing boats lie motionless on the sand, dozens of kilometers from their former surface. This was once the shoreline of the Aral Sea, a vast lake spanning over 26,000 square miles and the 4th largest inland body of water on Earth in the 20th century. In its heyday, the Aral Sea supported over 100,000 people through its thriving fishing industry and bustling commercial ports. Everything changed in the 1960s when the Soviet Union implemented large-scale irrigation projects, diverting the Amu Darya and Sir Darya rivers to irrigate millions of acres of cotton. The goal was to transform Central Asia into a cotton-producing center, but the consequence was a drastic reduction in water flow into the Aral Sea, causing the lake to begin shrinking irreversibly. When the water receded, fish died in droves, boats ran aground, and coastal towns were abandoned. Moynak's population dwindled to around 18,000, mostly elderly people, herders, and textile workers. The collapse of the Aral Sea also completely disrupted the local ecosystem, salinizing surrounding farmland and rendering it unsuitable for cultivation. The region's climate also changed drastically. Summer temperatures could reach 49 degrees Celsius, while winters frequently dropped below 0 degrees Celsius due to the loss of the lake's temperature regulating effect. Dust storms became commonplace, carrying fine particles hundreds of miles away. This dust contained pesticide residues, fertilizers, and chemical remnants from Soviet-era industrial programs, making the environment toxic. Medical studies in the area noted an esophageal cancer rate approximately 25 times higher than the global average, along with an increase in respiratory illnesses and weakened immune systems. The Aral Sea tragedy is often considered one of the most serious man-made environmental disasters. It illustrates the price paid when natural water systems are exploited without regard for ecological balance. In the last 2 decades, the world has lost more than 4,400 square kilometers of coastal wetlands, a trend that shows the Aral Sea is not unique. What was once teeming with life is now a silent desert, a reminder that short-term economic decisions can have consequences lasting for generations. Number 6. The sacred land of knife forging in Central Asia. Nestled in the Fergana Valley, the town of Chust has long been considered a mecca for knife making. For the international community of craftspeople, Chust knives are renowned not only for their beauty, but also for their exceptional durability and sharpness. Local tradition holds that the blades can last for decades without sharpening and resist rust even after prolonged exposure to the elements. This is attributed to an ancient forging process. Chust blacksmiths use iron aged 100 to 150 years, collected from the Karakum Desert, and then temper it using water from the Zarafshan River. The resulting alloy is called jandir, a type of steel that locals believe possesses life. The blade is said to maintain its sharpness through use, rather than wearing down like ordinary knives. Some blacksmiths explain that the unique grain structure of the metal helps the edge remain stable under repeated cutting forces. In social life, Chust knives hold significance far beyond their practical function. In traditional weddings, the groom often carries a knife as a symbol of responsibility and the ability to protect his family. They are also considered heirlooms, passed down from father to son. Today, tourists can buy Chust knives for around $20 and witness daring knife tests. Some locals demonstrate the sharpness by cutting hard materials as a way of proving the blade's quality to potential buyers. The knife handles clearly reflect the craftsman's personality. They are often made from horn, precious wood, or carved metal, each detail reflecting a unique style. Many handles feature geometric patterns or protective symbols, believed to bring good luck to their owners. Despite Uzbekistan's modernization, chust blacksmiths have maintained their techniques almost unchanged for centuries. The sounds of hammers and furnace fires still echo through the narrow streets. Today, chust knives are sought after by collectors and chefs worldwide, not just as a tool, but as a living heritage. Whether used for food preparation or kept as amulets, these living blades represent a rare fusion of craftsmanship, tradition, and the distinctive cultural identity of Uzbekistan. Number 7. When the bathroom becomes a community. To understand Uzbekistan, begin with the hammam, the traditional bathhouses where steam has been an integral part of urban life for centuries. Hammams are not simply places for hygiene, but a ritual for cleansing both body and mind. Stepping into an ancient hammam in Bukhara, built in the 16th century, you'll find thick stone walls, dim light reflecting on warm marble floors, and a steady, gentle flow of water. Locals believe that leaving a hammam means shedding accumulated fatigue, like starting a new day. Hammams are distinctly social spaces. Men and women bathe separately, each with its own atmosphere. The men's area is usually quieter, where conversations revolve around business and politics. The women's area is more vibrant, filled with the scent of roses, laughter, and everyday stories. The bathing experience follows a fixed sequence. Warm water opens the pores. Rough gloves scrub away dead skin, followed by a massage with rich, lathering olive soap, and finally, cold water to stimulate circulation. Afterward, many people lie down, wrapped in towels, and drink tea, allowing the steam to settle. Traditionally, hammam also holds religious and medicinal significance. Muslims need to perform purification rituals before praying, and hammam was once considered an ideal location. In Samarkand and Bukhara, medieval scholars believed that the steam improved blood circulation and mental well-being. Historical records show that Silk Road merchants often stopped at hammam before continuing their journey, considering it a physical preparation before crossing deserts and mountain passes. During the Soviet era, many hammam were closed due to their incompatibility with the new lifestyle. But today they have been restored with traditional materials and function as health centers. Besides hammam, Uzbekistan also offers desert sand bathing near the Aral Sea. Visitors lie in sand naturally heated by the sun, often reaching 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. Some local establishments promote the idea that the mineral-rich sand can help relieve joint pain and muscle tension, based on long-standing folklore of desert dwellers. Sand baths are typically shorter, lasting 20 to 40 minutes, while a hammam session lasts 1 to 2 hours. Prices range from a few dollars to premium packages for tourists. The final question is, how long do you think you can withstand the dense steam or the hot desert sand? Number 8. Bread linked to destiny. In the United States, bread is a familiar food item bought and consumed daily, rarely associated with spiritual significance. In Uzbekistan, the perspective is completely different. People call bread naan and consider it sacred, linked to life, family, and blessings from God. If a loaf of naan accidentally falls to the ground, people will immediately pick it up, gently kiss it, and place it in a high position, such as on a wall or tree branch, to show respect and allow birds to eat the remaining bread. Naan is always shaped round, symbolizing the sun and the energy that sustains life. Bakers decorate the surface with traditional patterns from each region, using a Czech seal made from walnut wood with small steel pins to help the bread maintain its shape during baking. Then, they lean close to the tandoor oven, which is heated to about 400 degrees Celsius, to press the bread against the clay oven walls. This operation requires high precision, as even a small mistake can cause serious burns. Naan appears in most important life ceremonies. At weddings, the bride and groom share a piece of naan during the ceremony, then finish the whole loaf the following morning as their first shared meal, symbolizing their lasting bond. When a baby is born, naan is placed under its head as a blessing, while toddlers have it placed between their legs to wish for a safe journey. Before enlisting, young men would bite off a piece of naan and leave the rest at home until their return. Guests are always offered naan first, broken by hand rather than with a knife, and never placed upside down, as this is considered unlucky. Tashkent was known as the Bread City during World War II, when its residents shared scarce naan with Soviet refugees. The diversity of naan is also evident. Young Samarkand mangoes, weighing around 1.5 kilograms, with firm flesh and yellow skin, were once a favorite of Timur, while young Margolin mangoes are distinguished by their sesame seeds and nigella-like patterns. Number 9. Map of Destiny. Imagine a mother sitting under the sun in the semi-desert region of Uzbekistan, needle and thread in hand, patiently embroidering stitch by stitch for months. On the surface, she is creating a decorative tapestry, but for her family, it is also a way of entrusting her daughter's future. This is the world of Suzani, the traditional embroidery art that Uzbeks believe can reveal destiny, from prosperity to matters concerning their children. The name Suzani comes from Persian, meaning needle. In Uzbekistan, it goes far beyond a mere craft. When a daughter reaches the age of 13 or 14, the mother begins embroidering a Suzani specifically for her wedding day. This work lasts from 12 to 18 months. The result is not a small, compact item, but large sheets of cotton or silk fabric, sometimes as wide as 2.5 by 3 meters, covering the walls of the house with symbols considered to possess spiritual power. Each motif has its own language. The red pomegranate with its many seeds represents fertility and the desire for many children. It is said that 7 pomegranates symbolize 7 suns. Sunflowers with gold threads suggest prosperity. Curved red chili peppers are embroidered to ward off evil and keep the flame of love alive. The color blue, familiar in the domes of ancient mosques, is seen as a symbol of divine protection. The Nurata and Bukhara schools are renowned for their dense symbolism. Nurata embroiderers often hide images of birds, animals, or people in inconspicuous corners, creating what locals call a map of destiny. Some families believe that most of these predictions come true, though outsiders may consider them mere coincidences. Today, Suzani have significant economic value. Wedding Suzani from the 19th century sell for thousands of dollars at auctions, while modern pieces fetch between a few hundred and several $1,000s. But for many Uzbeks, the true value lies in the meaning that only mothers and grandmothers can fully understand through each stitch. Number 10. Society doesn't need police. Imagine living in Uzbekistan, where over 10,000 mahallas exist, self-governing communities that have operated continuously for approximately 2,500 years without police or direct intervention from the central government. It is the only country in the world to maintain this system, recognized by UNESCO as a vibrant community tradition dating back to the 11th century Central Asian Golden Age. Each mahalla typically comprises 200 to 500 households, clearly defined by street or neighborhood boundaries, and every Uzbek is connected to a mahalla based on their place of residence. At the heart of the mahalla is the Council of Elders, headed by an aksakal, a person trusted by the community for their prestige and life experience. They work alongside women's representatives and other influential individuals in the neighborhood. This council resolves everything from family disputes to larger issues through community voting. In 2024, the mahalla system mediated over 1.2 million disputes nationwide, significantly reducing the burden on formal courts and saving the state administrative costs. In practice, the mahalla operates in parallel with the state apparatus, with unofficial leaders often using mosques or tea houses as centers of activity, while the state president handles administrative procedures. A notable aspect is the role of women in the mahalla. In many areas, particularly the Fergana Valley, women's councils have the power to intervene deeply in marriage and family matters, even pressuring for mass divorces in cases of infidelity. During the Soviet era, the mahalla was considered a backward relic and attempts were made to eliminate it, but the system survived and experienced a strong resurgence after Uzbekistan's independence in 1991. Today, the mahalla takes on many modern tasks, such as distributing welfare benefits to millions of low-income families each year. Community-elected neighborhood watch groups patrol unarmed, relying primarily on social prestige, contributing to significantly lower crime rates than the urban average. Tea houses become decision-making centers, where agreements are reached through consensus, demonstrating a governance model based on community trust rather than rigid laws. Number 11. Breakfast starts at 2 o'clock. Forget the familiar concept of breakfast. In Uzbekistan, the most important meal of the day doesn't begin with coffee or bread, but with a cooking ritual that starts around 2 a.m. and must be eaten precisely between 6 and 9 a.m. This ritual is called Oshi Nahor, the world's only morning plav recognized by UNESCO as a distinct cultural practice, separate from the plav used in daily life. This dish is usually only served at large weddings with hundreds of guests, and traditionally, women do not participate in the cooking process. From midnight, men gather to prepare. They begin with sabzi tugrar, a ritual of slicing hundreds of kilograms of carrots the night before. Then, desert wood is burned in giant copper kazans, which, when full, can weigh up to 500 kilograms. A kazan can serve between 500 and 650 people, using layered devzira rice with lamb, onions, and Egyptian cumin to create the characteristic golden rice layer. The entire process is completed right after the dawn prayer, Bomdod Namozi, and is signaled by the sound of a carne serne horn. Guests share a large lagan plate between two people, symbolizing their bond and shared destiny in marriage. The scale of Oshi Nahor makes this ceremony almost unrivaled worldwide. At Tashkent weddings, hundreds of people can consume over 100 kilograms of plav in less than 90 minutes. At the end of the meal, the bride's family usually presents guests with chapan, a traditional robe. Attendance time is considered crucial. Most Uzbeks believe that eating Oshi Nahor on time brings good luck to the marriage, while arriving after 9 a.m. is considered bad luck. Refusing an invitation is considered a serious insult. The preparation process demands absolute precision. Chefs arrange the ingredients in layers, without stirring, to maintain the traditional structure passed down through centuries. In Samarkand alone, more than 1,000 Oshi Nahor meals are served at weddings each year, all adhering to the same strict timeline and clearly defined gender roles dating back to the Silk Road era. Number 12. Ritual cuisine. In Uzbekistan, food is not simply a matter of survival, but a social ritual intertwined with markets, family, and community events. At the heart of this, cuisine is plav, also known as ash or palov, a dish considered a national symbol. Plav is made from long-grain rice, fatty lamb, shredded carrots, onions, whole garlic cloves, and spices such as cumin and coriander, all cooked in a kazan, a large pot, placed directly over a fire. During weddings and major festivals, enormous kazans weighing tons are used to cook enough plav for the entire community. Men often gather before dawn to prepare, as traditionally, plav on important occasions is the responsibility of men. Throughout Uzbekistan, there are over 60 regional variations of plav, with different additions such as raisins, chickpeas, quail eggs, or local spices. This dish was once associated with the warrior and royal classes, and there is a theory that Alexander the Great's army used early versions of plav to restore energy after battle. Today, plav still holds a ceremonial role despite its very affordable price. In Tashkent, a serving of plav on the street costs only a few dollars, but it is still cooked for important occasions such as births, weddings, and funerals. Traditionally, plav is cooked before sunrise and served after morning prayers. Besides plav, Uzbekistan is also famous for its melons, with over 150 different varieties, highly valued for their sweetness and aroma. Farmers believe that the first bite of a ripe melon brings good luck for the whole year. It is also the land of wild apples, considered the ancestor of modern apple varieties worldwide. Uzbek cuisine also reflects its nomadic heritage through dishes like kaymiz, fermented mare's milk with a slightly sour taste and low alcohol content, or shurpa, a rich meat soup with lamb and fatty bones. Even elaborate offal dishes like beef lungs stuffed with milk and rice appear at large feasts, showing how Uzbeks transform simple ingredients into cultural symbols that bind communities together. Number 13. A tradition of singing all night long. Imagine sitting for 12 hours straight in a musical performance where 24 ancient Dastan poems are sung interspersed with live instruments. The audience sways to the rhythm, then suddenly bursts into laughter or tears for no apparent reason. This is shashmakom, the distinctive classical music system of Uzbekistan, formed at the Bukhara court in the 16th century and recognized by UNESCO in 2008 as one of the world's most complex maqam systems. Shashmakom consists of 6 major maqams, each a melodic cycle lasting hours, rooted in Jewish and Islamic Bukharan traditions. Performers must memorize thousands of musical notes passed down orally for over a millennium, as conventional musical notation cannot fully capture their depth. The performance opens with a solo instrumental piece featuring the deep, resonant sound of the rubab, combined with the gijak, tanbur, 2-string dutar, and doira drum, sometimes with the addition of a flute, creating layers of sound that spread throughout the space. The performance tradition in Uzbekistan adheres to strict rules. From the 16th century, the main roles were almost exclusively male. They employed complex vocal techniques, transitioning from low to high registers, creating a distinctive and unmistakable timbre. During the Soviet era, pioneering female singers like Barno Iskakova had to practice discreetly to overcome this barrier and appear on stage from the 1920s to the 1950s. Bukharan Jews played a significant role in the flourishing period of Shashmakom, particularly in Samarkand and Tashkent. They blended Uzbek, Tajik, and Afghan styles, incorporating Shashmakom into important occasions such as weddings and funerals. Each maqam consists of a single main vocal section presented over 2 songs, prolonging the emotional experience until the audience is completely immersed in a state of rapture. Today, Shashmakom remains vibrant at the Shark Taronalari Festival in Bukhara and at nighttime performances in Registan Square in Samarkand. Music schools in Tashkent continue to train hundreds of musicians each year, maintaining the oral tradition despite periods of threatened extinction in the 20th century. Number 14, a country that lives according to the seasons. In Uzbekistan, March 21st marks the annual Navruz festival, celebrating the Persian New Year and the spring equinox. This holiday has Zoroastrian origins dating back over 2,500 years and is recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. Weeks before Navruz, communities hold collective cleanups called kashar, where people buy new clothes and prepare feasts with 7 dishes symbolizing good fortune and fertility in the new year. The centerpiece of the festival is sumalak, a sweet pudding made from sprouted wheatgrass, flour, and butter. Sumalak is cooked overnight in large cauldrons, with women and neighbors taking turns stirring, singing folk songs, and chatting. This dish is not only nutritious after the long winter, but also signifies community bonding. Once finished, sumalak is shared with relatives and neighbors, accompanied by visits, gift-giving, and reconciliation of past conflicts. Many families release doves as a symbol of peace. Navruz is also the time for traditional sports such as kurash wrestling, horse racing, and kopkari, a game of horseback riding to win a goat carcass for a prize from the elders. People believe that actions on Navruz will influence their fortune for the whole year, so concerts, fairs, and public games last for days, especially in Tashkent. Besides Navruz, Uzbekistan has many seasonal festivals. The Melon Festival in the Fergana Valley in May celebrates the country's staple fruit, with competitions judging sweetness and appearance. The Silk and Spice Festival in Bukhara recreates the Silk Road trade through demonstrations of handcrafted atlas weaving, spices, and traditional music. In the mountainous Boysun region, Boysun Bahori preserves pre-Islamic folklore with ancient rituals and mythological storytelling. Meanwhile, the Tashkent Beer Festival has a modern feel, showcasing how Uzbekistan blends long-standing traditions with contemporary life. Number 15, one of the cheapest places in the world. According to the 2025 Global Cost of Living Index, Uzbekistan is ranked among the world's cheapest destinations for tourists and expats. Average daily expenses are only about $12 to $15 per person, placing the country in the top 5 most affordable places to live. Compared to the United States, costs in Uzbekistan are approximately 62% lower excluding rent and about 65% lower including rent. A single person can live quite comfortably on a budget of around $677 per month nationwide. For families, spending under $1,900 per month is still sufficient to maintain a stable life, making Uzbekistan an attractive option for remote workers or retirees seeking value. In Tashkent, Central Asia's most modern city, a fully furnished 1-bedroom apartment in the city center rents for between $350 and $550 per month. In areas further from the city center, prices can drop to around $250. Smaller historic cities like Samarkand or Bukhara offer similar apartments with rents typically under $150 per month. Utility costs, including electricity, water, heating, and high-speed internet, range from $40 to $70, while a mobile plan with 10 gigabytes of data is only about $3.60. Public transport contributes significantly to lower expenses. A Tashkent metro ticket costs only about 12 cents per ride, and a monthly pass is around $10. Taxis have low starting fares and rarely exceed a few dollars for city trips. Gasoline prices also remain around $1 per liter. Local cuisine further reinforces its low-cost reputation. A full meal with plov, kebab, flatbread, and tea at a traditional tea house costs only $1 to $3. Western-style restaurants serve three-course dinners for two for around $25, while street food like samsa or shashlik often costs under $1. With the average after-tax salary for locals only around $470 to $550 per month, these prices explain why Uzbekistan is particularly attractive to foreigners rather than locals. And those are 15 interesting facts about Uzbekistan. Hopefully, this information has given you a fresh perspective on this country. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join us on our next exploration journeys. Of these 15 facts, which one impressed you the most? Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.